Raoul believes the crypto bear market is officially over and that crypto spring is officially here. And as we all know, with crypto spring and summer, this means some massive gains are coming our way. Now, as we all navigate through this late bear market, early bull market, there is still large amounts of FUD. And what is FUD? Well, fear that maybe some potential crashes could be coming our way, uncertainty about what happens next, especially if we go into recession, and doubt, maybe doubting your previous or current investing decisions. So what I'm saying is that FUD is real. So investing certainly can be challenging, and the number one thing we always have to decide is our asset allocation. What do we do with our own money? Now, one of the best things I found to do is have many different reference points. So it's taking a look at large investors, medium investors, small investors, and seeing what are they doing with their own money. And then it becomes more clear what to do with your own. And this brings us nicely onto this video. Today we'll flip back to Raoul, a former Goldman Sachs director and now pretty big in the crypto space. And I think I've been able to break down his entire thesis in just 3 clips. Number 1, the big idea behind his everything code in just 1 lesson. Number 2, his personal investing plan, so what is he doing with his own money? And then 3, we get specific on individual cryptos that he likes out of the 25,000. And stay tuned to the end as there is an announcement to a big change happening to this channel. So first up, Raoul's come up with what he calls the everything code, and here is the big idea.
The central bank balance sheets are liquidity, but what they actually are is debasement of currency. You're basically borrowing money to pay off the interest on the other money, and that's a pure debasement of currency. And that optically makes assets go up in price. Optically, because it's actually the denominator that's falling and not the asset prices. So with part of the everything code, I changed the denominator for all assets to the global central bank balance sheets and found out that most markets had gone nowhere once you look at it in those terms. They all look more like Europe did, which was a sideways ranging market. And that was the S&P went nowhere, real estate went nowhere, gold went nowhere. But there were 2 that did, which was technology and crypto. And I'm like, what's that all about? And that was this realization that got me to the exponential age, which preceded this whole thesis, that those are not only driven by the debasement, but they outperform because they're driven about technological adoption. So they're driven by Metcalfe's law and other factors.
Now, what I found interesting about all this is that Raoul's entire thesis is pretty much exactly what Michael Saylor is also saying. Recently, Michael Saylor gave a presentation, which I covered in my last video. And once you account for inflation, then stocks and gold are pretty much going sideways. And that the only thing that's going to outperform inflation is crypto. However, Raoul adds the addition of tech stocks, but in their own unique way, they're pretty much saying the same thing. And so knowing this, going back to the most important decision for investors, what is his asset allocation? Where is he putting his own money?
Once you have this framework and you understand that it is forecastable, then our job is to extract it all away and just say, I need to own technology and crypto. And when we're turning at the turning points in the cycle is when I need to own the most of it. Global liquidity bottomed in June. That's when I added to my ETH bet, and ETH was the first to bottom. When we got round to November, when other liquidity measures started bottoming, October, Bitcoin and equities bottomed. And that was another point to add to this bet. And then I was waiting for the hypothesis to play out a little bit further. And then I added a lot to as much of this as I could, both in crypto and technology. Now, to be clear, and this is, crypto massively outperforms technology over this process. Always has done. I don't know how the year's going to end out. Well, I do, I think, because of the everything code. And I think it's significantly still higher from here, which is a lot of people struggle with this, struggle with why didn't equities have another down leg, because we're going into recession, and same with crypto. I'm just very, very bullish.
And this was a niggle playing on my mind. If and when the US goes into recession, then historically risk assets go down. And this means dragging the crypto market down again. So interesting how he can be so sure this isn't going to happen. And as many of you will know, I'm a fan of allocating so you can win in either direction. However, if you think about it, it's all just a matter of time frame. With a 1 or 2, 3, 4 year time frame, then pretty much we're all saying the same thing. It's all going a lot higher. Now, what's really difficult is predicting the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, and to finish up, now we dig a little deeper and we find out the specific investments that Raoul likes.
Generally, as a rule of thumb, I've liked Ethereum over others because it's large, it has a yield, it has massive amounts of applications built on the network, and I think it tends to perform well. That's not anything against Bitcoin. I mean, again, it's weird that you have to give a caveat of, well, I don't dislike Bitcoin because Bitcoin people can be so aggressive over this stuff. I care much less about Bitcoin. Interested in what Udi's doing and others building on Taproots and the ordinals and other stuff. And I think Solana is probably a decent bet because it's got a lot of developer activity and network activity. Anything else, I don't really talk about. Look, this is a much more difficult space than it used to be because there is so many tokens and there's so many opportunities, and you can make a lot of money, you can lose a lot of money.
When it comes to investing, the number one most important thing is asset allocation. Where do you put your money and by what percentage? I think one of the best things you can do if you want to do this yourself and not use a professional financial advisor is to then get many different reference points from lots of different traders and investors. Today we looked at Raoul Pal, and one of the central themes of his everything code is that central banks are gonna print money. So you need something that keeps ahead of inflation. And Michael Saylor is also saying the same point. Essentially they're saying what most people don't realize is things like gold and the S&P, although they go up in price, they're actually just keeping up with inflation. And for Raoul Pal, there's just two things you need to invest in, and that is tech stocks and crypto. And the specific cryptos that he likes are Ethereum and Solana. Now, and as promised, there is an announcement for this channel, and it's to do with the comments. Now, when I first started, I used to be able to read and reply to every single comment. However, as the channel has grown and comments go into the hundreds, sometimes thousands, and then as many of you will know, we have this ridiculous problem of comment spam and scammers and bots that can just create hundreds and hundreds of comments. It's become impossible to manage. So I'm going to be trying out a new thing. All comments will now have to be approved, and if you want to make sure that your comment or question gets read and replied to, then we're going to use the super thanks feature. And this way I can remove 100% of the scammers and bots, and you can make sure that your question or comment gets read and replied to. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.